Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dave with the Compass Options Trading Room and Alert Service. And just giving a heads up that the room's open and we'll be starting right around 4:30. Expecting a lot of people in here today. And appreciate everybody coming in the afternoon right after the market closes on Fed Day. So the Fed, as everybody probably knows, the Fed is pausing the rate increases for June. So there was no rate increase, but they did suggested there's going to be a couple more rate increases this year. So market handled it very well. It moved down on the Fed announcement, moved back up again. It closed pretty close to where it was before the Fed. So anyway, we'll be looking at the Compass system, the trading room and May alert service. And I'm going to go into some details. I'll give you some specs on trades we've taken, but I specifically want to focus on how we find these trades that we do so well on, and what we use to find them, and why there's such high probability trades. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Again, welcome everybody. And if you can hear me okay and you can see my screen, please go ahead and give me a yes in the question box. It should say Compass Dominated Trading Room Alert Service 61423, and you should be able to hear me. No answers, nobody can hear me? Okay, great, thank you. Brett, you can hear. As long as somebody can hear me, that's good. Probably a lot of people don't really want to respond, but I appreciate that. All right, so I'll be back in just a few minutes to get started. Again, welcome everybody. And I think you're going to find this webinar extremely useful. And I think it's going to help a lot of folks become better traders. That's what we're trying to do. Hello, everybody again. This is Dave with the Compass Options Trading Room and Alert Service, and I'm just waiting for people to check in. We get a lot of people coming in here today, fairly large crowd, so appreciate that. And I want to give people some time to get in, but I am very cognizant of everybody's time, especially after a Wednesday in the market with on a Fed day. It wasn't too exciting. The market pulled back pretty hard when the Fed announcement came out, and then it regained it all right back again later on in the afternoon. So not much of a change. So it was very interesting. So anyway, I will be back in just a little bit as everybody checks in, and hopefully you can all hear me. Make sure, just give me a yes if you can hear me and see my screen in the right over here that says Compass Dominator Trading Room and Alert Service 614. Again, good afternoon, everybody, and this is Dave again. I'm going to start here in just a couple minutes. Just give me a yes or in the question box if you can hear me and you can see my screen okay. Just want to make sure the video and the audio is working fine. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. And again, welcome everybody. All right, everybody, good afternoon, and we'll get started. Still a lot of people coming in, but again, I'm cognizant of your time, and I don't want to take a lot of time. This should take, it takes about 45 minutes. I'll answer all the questions at the end, and we're just gonna kind of cover this as quickly as I can. I'm not going to be able to get into tremendous detail about every indicator, but we'll show you what we use. So again, this is the company, what's called the Compass Dominated Trading Room and Alert Service. Compass and Dominator are two different pieces of software that I use to identify the ways to use that to find the highest probability trade setups that there are. All right, so this is what we're going to do. First thing I'm going to do is, of course, do the usual disclaimer. Now, all signals and trading opportunities we provide here, orally, written, electronically, are for educational and demonstration purposes only. Trading is very risky, so you should never trade with more money than you can afford to lose. And neither myself or Right Line Trading are licensed financial advisors, so we won't be giving financial advice. Okay, so before I get into the details of our trading, how we find these high probability trades, this kind of relates to that. I want to talk about the market itself and what moves stocks. And there's different traders. There's retail traders like myself, and most likely everybody in this room is a retail trader. And we're these little marbles out front here. Millions of retail traders around the world, and we don't have the ability to move the market. Now, a lot of people think otherwise. We don't have the ability to move the market. So we're just in here trading, battling each other. This big marble here in the background, which would be about 10 times bigger, these are the institutions. These are the institutions like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, HSBC, big bank, Vanguard, mutual fund, T. Rowe Price mutual fund, lots and lots of mutual funds, 401k funds, and these are the institutions that can move the market. They can move it up or down any way they want to. And our job as a retail trader to be consistently profitable traders is to be able to follow the institutions. We can't trade against them, and we don't want to be trading when they're not in there. We don't want to be trading against other retail traders, because retail traders create just chop and chaos in the market when they're trading. You see stocks chopping all around. It's usually the retail traders. Once the institutions join in, then the market will take a direction. They'll either drive it up or they'll drive it down, and they have the ability to do that anytime they want. So you have to understand that. And this includes algos. There are a lot of algos that these banks and institutions have. All the institutions have algos, basically computerized programs that are looking for specific setups, specific news. They're looking for anything you can think about. And they know where our stops are. If you put a hard stop on your trade, they know that, because they get all the information from what's called the ECNs. So that's what drives the market. So this is our job, is to identify when the institutions are in there. So what I'm going to start by is I'm just going to go over some stats of how we've traded recently using the two systems, and then we'll get into some more specifics. But I use the Compass system and the Dominator system. The Compass system is a system that I'm going to show you that I use, and a lot of people in the room use it, to identify institutional involvement in a trade. This is how we find when the institutions are in the trade and when they're not in the trade. And then we have another system called the Dominator system. The Dominator system identifies market internals. Market internals are different from institutions. Market internals are looking to see how many stocks are moving up on up volume and upticks versus how many stocks are moving down on down volume and down ticks at any particular time during the day. And if you have institutions in the trade and you have the market internals also pointing in the same direction, it gives you a much higher probability of success. So that's what those two systems are. And what I did was, the Dominator system came into existence in October. So these trades from October 1st to December 28th, these were taken just off of the Compass system, which is looking for market, looking for institutions. So these are always taken in the direction that the institutions were trading. And the Compass system was showing us those. The Dominator system, even though we had it in these trades, the Dominator system was neutral. It didn't show a preponderance of stocks going up or going down. So it was basically the market internals were neutral, but the institutions were in the trade that we took. So we had 129 wins and 12 losses from 10-1 to 12-28. And that's a 90.2% win rate, pretty high win rate. We try to maintain around that win rate. Now, from the Compass and dominated trades, now these would be trades that we knew the institutions were in there trading, and we also had market internals in our favor. So if we had a stock where the institutions were buying it, and the dominated system was telling us that the market internals were also on a buy signal, that gives us a higher probability of trade setups. So from 10-1 to 12-28, we use the same period of time. We had 113 trades. There would be fewer trades because you don't get this alignment all the time. But we had 113 wins and 2 losses, 97.4% win rate, pretty astronomical win rate, very, very difficult to maintain that kind of win rate, but that's what we got when we started using these together. And it takes a lot of patience waiting for these trades. So those are those trades. This is just kind of a recap of some of the trades we took. In April, we finished with 19 wins in a row, and we opened in May with 10 wins in a row. This is in the room and on the alert service. So we did have 29 wins in a row, which I think is the best I've done this year. And taking an investment of $2,000 in each trade produced about a little over $11,000 profit from April 20th to May 5th. And we just use a baseline of 2,000. You obviously, some people put in a lot more, some people a lot less. But that's just to show you these stats. And what I want to do is show you the statistics. Then we're going to get into the actual bread and butter of how we find these trades. Because I think it's important, if you're going to be either a member of the room or you're going to be in the alert service, I think it's important to understand how we're finding these trades, where these trades come from. And we're not just picking them out of the air. This was a spreadsheet I had on these are the 19 winning trades I had, how we ended up April. And these are the stocks we took and the percentage gains we had in each one of them. So it varies all over the place. Most of them were day trades running anywhere from 10 to 30% profits on these particular stocks. But they were all winners, and we did have one break even, but all winners. And this is recent May. I wanted to show this. And again, I like to show our results. I want to be transparent about what's going on in the room and on the alert service. But here was May. And we had 37 wins and 7 losses in May. In April, we had 35 wins and 5 losses. So between 89%, 85% win rate here. This is May, and we do take drop losses. You have to understand any system that you take, you're going to run into some losses. But this was a pretty good month. This closed out pretty good. We had a big loss in Twilio here, which reversed on us really hard. But generally speaking, these were pretty good results for May. Again, 37 wins and 7 losses was pretty good. And these are the June trades we've had so far. Again, we've got I think it's actually more than 13 and 1, I think, but yeah. But these are the June trades, maybe 14 or 15 and 1. We've had some nice wins. We had a loss in Planet Fitness, which was we took it short. It was really short. Taking shorts in this market is really difficult because the market's been pretty bullish. But everything else worked out really, really well. And some really nice trades again. TSF 50%, Microsoft today for 20%. We were only in this I don't think we were in this an hour, maybe less than an hour for 20% gain. APGO the other day on the 12th. This was a call debit spread. We had a 45% gain in a call debit spread really, really quickly, maybe in 2 hours perhaps. So again, here's kind of a recap. That June number is wrong. I think it's 15 and 1 now. And we have also what's called a weekly ATM with Apple, and I'll explain that briefly. It's a strategy that we use, but it's called the weekly ATM, and we're using it with Apple, and it's just really performing nicely. Now these I want to kind of point out, these are alerted trades. We don't alert every trade because if I'm taking a trade, for example, in the SPY in the room, and we're going to be in the trade for 2 candles or 3 candles, I can't send that out an alert. It's too quick. It's not fair to the alert service folks. But anything that's going to be a decently long trade, especially any overnights or any time spreads over earnings or things like that, those all get alerted. And these are all alerted trades right here. You can see we had VNTX. We get in for 81 cents, out for $1.21 the next morning. That's a 50% profit. And again, using a $2,000 investment for each of these, I'm just using this as a baseline. That was a $1,000 profit in that. And then we had run a solar stock in for 33, out for 43 the next morning, a nice $600 profit. Alta Salon in for 266, out for 366 the next day. Smaller percentage, still another $700 profit, pretty nice. So again, you can see these: ACN 43%, Delta Airlines 45%, Baba in for 4, out for 450. We were in there for less than 2 hours. That was a nice 13% profit. Twillo in for 415, out for 515. Again, 25% gain overnight in that one. And I poked a few more in here. Dash in for 64, out for 84. I changed the color of this just to kind of make it stand out. But again, 31% in Dash, 30% in Square, 13% in Gold, Match 30%. So you can see these all these alerted trades are doing very well. And we do have losers from some time lately, but we occasionally, but we haven't had a lot lately in the alert service. So those are the alerts, and this is what you'll see. So let's just talk about the service right now. Again, what we're looking for, and this is the Compass Options alert service. It's designed for day trades and short-term swing trades. So it's really meant for folks who necessarily can't be in front of the machine. A lot of the people in my room are also on the alert service because they can't be there all the time. They can be there in the morning, but they can't be there in the afternoon or whatever. So they're on the alert service as well. But it's again designed for day trades and short-term swing trades. Designed for traders who can't watch the market all day, of course. You get real-time alerts on what's called the highest probability trade setups that we find. And the room is specifically set up to look for high probability trade setups. What we say is we trade the best and we skip the rest. We're only looking for the highest probability trade setups, and it takes patience to do that. And it takes software, and it takes having the right tools to do that. And how we find these highest probability trades, and I'm going to get into some more details on these, is we identify when institutions are in the trade and if the market internals and technical analysis is also in our favor. The identifying institutional involvement is actually enough to give you a high probability trade setup. But when you add the market internals and the technicals, looking at support, resistance, etc., you can go from a high probability trade to the highest probability trade. And that's really the only way you're going to be able to get 85, 90, 92% wins. You've got to be going for just the best. And how the alerts will work is we send an SMS message out. You're going to get an alert on your phone. Again, we trade the best and skip the rest. And every alert will include the stock symbol, of course, the strike price of the particular stock that we're buying or selling, the option expiration date, and the price to pay for the option. So most of the time, these are going to be, straight puts. You're going to buy a put or buy a call. We do also do spreads, which case you might be buying a call and selling a higher price call to create a debit spread, or sometimes we'll do credit spreads. So you will see spreads in here, and they'll be laid out clearly as far as how you should put the trade on. But again, you'll get the stock symbol, the strike price, the expiration date, and the price to pay for the option. And then you'll also get another alert, or it'll be included in the first alert, what we want you to use for an exit price. In other words, your take profit target, and that would be in there. And I always recommend that when you get the trade set up and you've got your profit target set, make it good. Make sure the trade is set good till canceled, so the trade will be active when the market opens in the morning. We had John Deere overnight last night, and we got filled almost right at the open this morning because it bounced up really big at the beginning. And a lot of times, if you don't catch it, it'll pull back on you, and you're kind of left without the profit that you could have had if you had that. So that's kind of important. Good till canceled on the trade. All right. So the question, and I get these questions all the time: how do we achieve such stunning results? And again, we are able to identify when the institutions are driving a trade and when the market internals are heavily bullish or bearish. These tools that we've got gives us such a huge edge over other retail traders because they don't have this information. We have it, they don't have it. That's really what separates us from any other retail traders, is we have more information, better information, and we know how to analyze it than they do. That gives us a big edge. And so we only take trades generally when both of these are in our favor, allowing us to align our trades with the institutions in the market. Now, if the market internals are neutral, not bullish, not bearish, then we'll lean on the compass system and we'll be taking trades based on what the institutions are doing. But if the market internals are just neutral, there's no buy or sell signals, then we'll still take the compass system trades. And again, it's trade the best and skip the rest. What I say in the room all the time is our objective as traders is not to make trades. And people think that's funny, but our objective as traders is to make money. We make money by taking only the highest probability trade setups. And the reason I say that is because we're always focusing on traders to stay patient. A lot of people will be sitting in front of their computer. They think they're a trader. I'm a trader, so I need to trade. And they just take trades they shouldn't take just to be putting a trade on. And that's an account killer when you start to do that. All right, so the two systems we have, the compass system and the dominator system, and I'm going to show you the charts from these. I'll show you the software. These are software that I use to find the trades. A lot of members of our room use it. Some people in the alert service use it. And you have the ability to buy these pieces of software if you want, but you don't have to. You can be in the room without it, and you can be on the alert service without it. But I want you to see where our trades are coming from. I think it's very important to understand that when you're a member of a service, that you have a grasp of how the people that are giving you these trades, how they're finding them, what it's based on, why are these such good trades. So the compass system identifies stocks that are being moved by institutional buying and selling. And it also identifies stocks that do not have institutional buying and selling moving them, so we can avoid those. And that's really important. Avoiding stocks that the institutions are not trading is just as important as trading stocks that they are in there, because every time you avoid a stock that the institutions add in, you're most likely avoiding a loser. And not having losers is just as important as having winners. And the second system is the dominator system, and this displays market internals and produces buy or sell signals when the difference in the number of stocks moving up on up volume and up ticks versus stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks is much higher. In other words, if you have 700 stocks moving up on up volume and up ticks, not looking at price, just the stocks moving up on up volume and up price, and 100 stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks, then you've got a disparity of stocks moving up, a large disparity, and the system will put a buy signal on there. So you'll see these in just a minute when I show you these particular charts. So the compass system, how do we identify institutions in the trade? Because it's not that easy. So we use what's called the triple green assessment, which is basically multiple time frames. And the things we look for in multiple time frames is we look for momentum, which we use the Laguerre oscillator without divergence in it. It's a straight momentum indicator. We look for that momentum, we look for trend, we look for money flow, and we look for quant. And quant is related instruments. So if you were trading Microsoft, for example, the quant looks at the stocks who normally trade in the same direction as Microsoft 70% of the time or more. It looks at the stocks that align with Microsoft, and it tells you whether those stocks are also moving in the same direction as Microsoft on 3 different time frames. We're looking at these, if we're on a 5-minute chart, we're looking at all of these on a 5-minute for the current time frame, a 15 and a 45. So if you've got momentum, trend, money flow, and quants all going up on a 5, 15, and 45, then you can be reasonably sure, and I'd say about 98% sure, that it's the institutions that are driving this trade to the upside. And if it's going down, they'd be driving it to the downside. So this helps us identify the institutional involvement in the trade. Very, very important. The new market internals dominator market internals, this looks at the market internals across 5 indexes. So it's looking at the Dow, the New York Stock Exchange, the Qs, the Russell 2000, and the S&P 500, the SPY. So it's looking at all of the stocks in all of those indexes. And then it's looking at each one of those indexes, and it's analyzing the number of stocks moving up on up volume and uptick versus the number of stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks in each one of the indexes. So you've got 5 different indexes that are being analyzed. Then it looks at the total overall number of stocks moving up on up volume and up ticks versus stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks, and makes a decision as to whether there should be a buy signal or sell signal. Because you can have like the Dow moving up with lots of stocks in the Dow, but there's only 30. So you could have 25 stocks moving up on the Dow, and it's going to look like you should have a buy signal. But if you've got the Russell 2000 and only 30% of the stocks are moving up, the Russell's going to be going down, so you're not going to get a buy signal. The buy signal is looking at all of the stocks in all of these indexes to make a determination of whether those stocks are going up or going down, and that's where that comes from. So when there's a large disparity, for example, 500 moving up versus 100 moving down, the software will create a signal, and that can be then used in conjunction with the Compass system to identify even higher probability trade setups, and that's what we do. If we've got a trending market, the dominator system is telling us we've got a bullish market, and the internals are bullish, then we're going to be looking for longs, and we're going to be using the Compass system to find the best longs. All right, so here we go. Here's some charts of the recent trades showing examples of these high probability trade setups. Now, I use 2 different pieces of software that I'm monitoring each day. This is the Compass system, and I do this on Thinkorswim. This is on TOS. The Compass system gets installed on the Thinkorswim platform. And this basically is a 5-minute chart right here of the SPY. And the things in here you're going to see, I'm going to just briefly explain some of these to you. If you decide you want the software or you come into the room, we'll go over this in a lot more detail. But what the key ones I look at, this right here is the momentum, the current time frame momentum. So this is the LIQUIDITY on the current time frame with just the momentum. And you get colors. So green and blue is bullish, and red and yellow are bearish. So this is the multi-time frame right here on the SPY. This is the multi-time frame LIQUIDITY or momentum indicator. And you typically want these things to be lined up when you take trades. Now, sometimes you can take them off the current time frame, but I generally don't. I usually wait for these to align. This is the quant that we talked about, and this is the money flow down here, which tends to switch very slowly, what we call a bias. And up here on the chart itself, there's a few things to look at. This pink line is called the VWAP, or the volume weighted average price. And one of the reasons I wouldn't take this long right here on the SPY toward the end of the day is because it's below the VWAP. That's likely going to offer resistance. And it was pretty late in the day. This here is the 15 EMA, and that becomes a support or resistance level, just like the VWAP does. And then that's the 15, sorry, the 15 is this little thin line right here. The thing that went from red to green is that shifts to green is telling you that the stock is getting bullish, and you can see the colors change down here. So that's what we look to trade. So this is what tells us what that particular stock is doing. Now, some of the things on here that you see is you see this right here. This is actually a short setup on the SPY. This is called the pop out of the box symbol. This pink, this blue arrow. That's telling you that the stock is breaking out of compression to the downside, and you see it's coming right off the 15 EMA. We would take that as a short right there, because everything is red. Everything is red down here, so the stock is bearish. We would take it red right there. You can even actually take it before. This just gives you a better entry off of that 15, and then you would ride it down, and likely when you get a green candle like this, you would take it off, and you wouldn't continue on the uptrend. You take your profits right here. So this is the Compass system on the Thinkorswim platform, which if you buy the Compass system, you'll get it set up. It looks exactly like mine. Now, this is the Dominator system on the SPY, the same thing. Dominator system runs on Ninja 8. So I run this on Ninja 8. Now, this has got a few different things in here as well, but not as many as the Compass system does. Down here are all the indexes that we're looking at with this. Obviously, this stocks moving up on up volume, and stocks moving up on up ticks or up volume. So you've got a volume and a tick, a volume and a tick for the 5 different indexes, and this is what they're looking like across the board. Okay, so that's important. Another thing that's important here is this background. When the background is pink, that's what's called a bearish multi-time frame trend. It's calculating the trend across multi-time frames to see if you're in a bearish trend or a bullish trend. Pink is a bearish trend. Green is a bullish trend. So you can see what happened right here. that you see that as we went to the bullish, and everything is red down here. We had a sell signal here and here and here, and the stock was coming off the 15. This is also the 15 EMA. This tells you that if the compass system is showing you sells and the dominator is giving you red signals, this would be what would be called a SPY super system. This is where you would buy the SPY puts right here and ride them down as long as the compass system is also showing as a short. So that's how this works. And if I go back here, you can see here's the SPY coming down here. You see how we get a sell signal here or pop out of the box signal, everything's red. And then if I'm looking at the compass at the same time, I see exactly the same thing. I see the compass system is bearish and the dominator system is bearish. They align, it's pink. We're gonna take a short trade here. And this would most likely be done just in the room because it's gonna be just a few candles, but it worked pretty nicely. All right, so I'm gonna just go through some charts of the compass system and the dominator system so you can see how they work. And again, the whole point of this is whether you're interested in the software or not, that's not the point. The point is to show you of the trades we take, and I showed you the win rate that we have. How do we find those trades? So when you get a trade, if you're on this alert and you get a trade come to your phone, you're going to know, if you go in and look at your chart, you're going to know where it's coming from, why we took it, because I'm showing you right now what we use for our criteria. So here's Netflix. Now here's Netflix, and again, you see the current time frame momentum here is switching back and forth. It goes red, blue, yellow, but now here we get blue to yellow, and that's bearish. The multi-time frame is already bearish. The quants are bearish. We get a pop out of the box signal right here on Netflix, and see the VWAP right there. That's one of the support and resistance levels we use as an entry type criteria. So this is where we took that short right there on that candle, and then we rode this thing down, and everything stayed red. Notice everything stays red. Institutions are selling. Institutions are selling. Institutions are selling. We stayed right in it, and there's a green candle in here, but institutions are still selling. We continue to ride it down, and I get out here. Before it looked like the momentum was starting to wane because the candles are getting smaller, but here's where we took our profits right over here as it flattened out. And again, you can see that the compass system is telling you that institutions are selling. You need to be selling. Certainly don't be buying. And here's again, this was off of the same kind of a trade. This is off the dominator system. So I want to show you how you can trade strictly off the dominator system, although I find the compass system better to trade off because a lot of times this won't be putting out signals as frequently. But again, here you can see the indexes are kind of green here, and then here we go from a black background, which is neutral, to a pink background, which is bearish. We get a sell signal right here off the dominator system right here, and we keep getting sell signals. This is where we actually took it as it poked down right here because everything went red. And then we just rode this down and stayed the trade right down to here, 3 points, $250 profit per contract on that SPY sell. And you can see everything stayed red, and then it started switching back to green again. So this is, and again, we're using the compass system at the same time to take what's called the SPY super system trade. You can use this for any index or for any stock, but when we're using it on the SPY or the Qs, we call it the super system, the SPY super system, because it has such a fabulous win rate. Here's Tesla. This was a Tesla short that we took, and again, I'm just repeating these charts so you can see the structure of them and how we're finding the trades, and if you had the software, what you would be seeing. So again, if you look at Tesla here on a 5-minute chart, you can see you're getting a lot of different color changes. You get some greens, blues, yellow, back and forth. But here we get a pop out of the box signal at the 15 EMA. And this just went yellow at the same time the multi-time frame was yellow, at the same time the quant was yellow. So this is where we would enter the trade for Tesla right here to take it off the 15 EMA. And sure enough, when these things all line up, it's telling you there's likely selling coming. And you can see it all turned red pretty soon after that. So there was selling coming, and we just rode this thing down. 30% profit in Tesla. This was actually right at the close of the day. We took this and we just rode the 15 down. Compass system is telling us institutions are in here selling all afternoon. Excuse me, while I grab a drink of water. Okay, thank you. Now this is Tesla. Now this was an overnight trade we took. Now, if you look here on the chart, this is a 5-minute chart. But here's how it closed out the day. So it was interesting. It closed out the day with a bunch of red candles, and this was red and yellow. Everything was telling us to sell, but it was late in the day. But we felt that it was setting up as a short when we looked at the technicals on it, and it sure enough did. It gapped down overnight. It fell from 120 when we opened it at about 3:45, and fell all the way to 112, and the puts exploded. And we wrote it down. As long as we had red staying on here, and it was riding below that VWAP, we stayed in that trade. Yeah, we stayed in that trade all the way down as it come down to here, and we get out right here just because it was time to take profits, and we had a green candle, so we took it off. It could have stayed in it a little bit longer, but notice we started getting blue here, so that was telling us we were a little bit of buying coming back in again. Not so much institutions as there were right through here. So that's how we also use this on daily charts to determine stocks that could be swing trades. Here's one in Z, and again, I just want to show you these. Here's a pop out of the box signal. Everything's red. The compass system is screaming at you to go short this. You know, it's certainly telling you not to go long. Go short this, and it's coming below the 15 with a pop out of the box signal, and it comes down and just kind of. It wasn't a big move. It did a lot of compression here, and we get out right here. Probably could have stayed in longer, but we've been in this for quite a few candles, and we decided to take profits. This is a daily chart on Oxy. This is one I like to show because we found this candle obviously during the day. We saw this candle breaking here. Now this shaded area in here on the compass system that's produced by the compass system is called a dynamic compression zone. So it's showing you a dynamic compression zone, and when a stock breaks out of dynamic compression, it's an indication of the stock's going to continue in that direction. Now we get a breakout on the daily. We get all green here. So again, the compass system on the daily is telling us this is a strong setup. Remember, the multi-time frame on the daily right here is showing you 1 day, 3 days, and 9 days. This is showing you that it's green across all of those time frames. It's institutions doing that. That's how we know that. So here's Oxy. Here's Oxy that day that we traded it. And you can see the compression here, long compression of price. Compass system is giving us yellow, blue. But right here, we get blue and green all the way across the board. And when it popped out of the box symbol, right above this 15 EMA, we were breaking compression. This is where we took the trade. And you can see it rode right up. And we get out right up here. And you can see that the compass system was telling us to buy all the way through that. This is a chart I like to throw up. This is Tesla. This uses what's called Fibonacci candles. And I use Fibonacci candles to look for reversals, confirmations of reversals. And I actually have a video. If you join the room in the service, you'll get the video on Fibonacci candles, how you trade them. But these are Fibonacci candles. The Fibonacci candles are structured so they use two trades, two candles to make one candle. And what you're looking for is a situation where you get a tail and a wick, and then you go to a flat bottom. Any kind of flat bottom candles in Fibonacci are bullish. And the reason it's a nice candle structure to use is because it shows the trend so nicely. You can see this trend moving up, and you notice that there's flat bottoms. Every single candle has a flat bottom on it. You don't get the herky-jerky view that you do with regular candles. So this is a pretty nice move. And again, this is Tesla on a Fibonacci, and again we bought here and we sold up here as it went back to a wick and a tail. Compass system is telling you buy all the way through here. Here's the SPY, and again I'm just going to run through some of these quickly. This is the SPY. This is a short on the SPY, 5-minute chart, breaking down below the VWAP with a pop out of the box symbol. Everything is either yellow or red, so it's bearish. The institutions are selling. We go ahead and sell the SPY here or buy the puts, write it down, and then when you start to get these short, tiny little candles here, time to get out of the trade. You notice it went blue over here. You don't really want to stay in when you're not getting any kind of momentum once the momentum wanes. But again, the compass system was telling you sell, sell, sell on this stuff. Meta, this is an overnight traded Meta. Meta gap down out of this dynamic compression zone, moved down, and you see how the compass went from blue to yellow on the daily chart. Tell us that the institutions are now selling, and sell they did for the next 3 days. Crowd, another one, another beautiful break out of dynamic compression. You see the dynamic compression. You can see we went from green to yellow. That means the institutions were buying, the institutions are selling, boom, and it goes right down. And it goes back to blue again, you get out of the trade. It's really, I mean, the whole idea of the compass system is with the color coding, it makes it so easy for traders, even new traders, to identify really high probability trade setups for shorts and for longs, and ones that aren't high probability trade setups, so you can ignore them. This was IBM. This was when we traded, and you can see how we get a dynamic compression zone here. This was a dividend day. Popped out of the compression box right here, the dynamic compression box. Everything was green and blue. Up it went. Perfect trade. We took this overnight for a nice gain in this one. QSR, this is one I want to show you how we use all three. This was a daily chart on QSR on the compass system. You can see right here on this candle that it went from yellow to blue. That's bearish, bullish, and it popped up, and then it went to green. So this is a very bullish setup coming out of a dynamic compression zone to the upside. So that's what we saw on the compass daily chart. Then we looked at the compass 5-minute chart to take the trade, and here's what we found. As the stock was compressing during the day, here's about 11 o'clock. It comes in and it goes red, blue. You could have bought it right here. Then it goes yellow, then it goes green. Anywhere in here would have worked. It flashed back to yellow, then went right to green again. You're getting a compression, and then you get another break out of the box symbol right here as the stock price comes off the 15 EMA, and then you just ride it right up and get out right here, of course, as it starts to reverse. See it back to yellow again. This is telling you that the institutions are buying. You can see by the price action that they're buying. And we knew it, and we knew it was coming. Now, on QSR on this, remember, this is about 11:30 when we get in. Here's the dominator system for the same day. All right, so here's 11:30 on the dominator system. Notice the background is dark green. That's bullish. The stock is, we don't have any buy signals yet, but this is the compression where we get in right here, because even though I didn't have a buy signal on the dominator system, the dominator system wasn't giving me any sell signals, so I knew it was neutral, and the compass system was bullish. So as an aggressive type trader, I took a trade right here. If you were more conservative, you would wait till you get your buy signal here and then write it up. But I get in here because the background was so green, compass was set up so nicely, and I didn't have a negative feeling on the dominator system. And then eventually it also went to the bullish side. And again, that's how we find these trades. And another SPY trade here. Pretty easy to see, dark pink. Sell signal right here and here. You get in, I wait for it to break below the 15 right here, and I get in right here, and then just write it down. But you only get about 3 candles. This is a SPY super system trade, and they don't necessarily last a long time. And once you start losing momentum like this, it didn't really go against you that much, but I would get out right in here. And again, this is another dominator setup, and you can see we went to all green right here at 11:15. The background went to light bluish green, so this told you that it was somewhat bullish, and then the dark green tells you it's very bullish. When you see a very bullish setup like this, the dark green, that's even better. So you could have bought it here if you were a little more of a risk taker, because you have a green buy signal, but you didn't have the multi-time frame being very bullish. But here it went very bullish, so for sure you would take the trade right here, and you could just take it up. And it's interesting, if you notice here, that you keep getting buy signals. Even when the stock pulls back, you're still getting buy signals. And these are retail traders coming in here, shorting the stock, thinking that they're trying to pick the top. So they're going to try to, they think the top is in, they're going to write it down. It's still telling us, no, the top is not in. And the people who were retail traders who were trying to short it, of course, as the stock just chopped around and started to come back up again, they all got wiped out. And that's the difference, knowing what the market internals are and what the institutions are doing. Very, very important important to know that information. And another one here, Netflix, another very strong move, dark green background, buy signal right here. Not likely to be able to catch that because it's such a fast, big candle, but you could catch it right here on the next break of compression, right here, and just ride it up, 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 up all day long. That's a 5-minute chart. And there's a SPY, again, dark background tells you that it's a neutral background. So this was sell signals with a neutral background, not the greatest trade to take. As soon as it goes to light pink or dark pink, you take the trade short. And you can see you can ride this down. Again, you can see we just get some compression, but it goes right into the 15 again, comes off the 15. So the 15 is a support resistance level. As it breaks below there, you get short, and you can just ride it down. So it's showing you the construction of what we're finding on these trades. And here's the SPY, same thing. This is the SPY on the Compass system, and this was late in the day, and you can see the olive green. See the pop out of the box single on the 15. You can buy it long right here and just ride it right up to the close of the day. Just never went against you. And again, the SPY one more time. Compass system, dominator system. Here's your buy signal, your first buy signal with a dark green background coming off the 15 EMA. Pops up. You can ride this trade right up to the close of the day, which is right here. This was the next morning. And you got buy signals all the way up there. So that's the dominator system, and the other one was the Compass system. So those are the software I use, and then I do use technical analysis off of a charting program called TC2000. I also have scanners in TOS that you get with the software, or with the room you get the scanners, and to help you find these trades, because you have to. The key to being able to be consistently profitable is you've got to find good trades. I mean, that's important. So now you know basically what software I use to do this, how we find these high probability trades, and how we get these high win rates. And it gives us such a huge edge over other retail traders that I can't explain how important it is to use the software. Or if you're on the service, know where these trades are coming from. If you're on the trade service, if you're on the alert service, and you get a trade, you can look at the chart. You're going to know now how I'm finding these trades to send out. And basically, we're doing just a summer special on the Compass Alert Service. It's normally about $3 grand a year, and you saw what we were making on these things. For summertime, it's a special offer, and $9.97 a year for the alert service. Or if you want to do just a quarter and try a quarter out, $2.97 a quarter. Again, the trades will all come out by SMS or text alerts to your phone. And for the first 10 traders that sign up, you're going to get my live trading room for 1 month, a masterclass series, which is I talked to you about Hikinashi. I also got videos on the Compass system and how to use it, how to find the highest probability trade setups, how to trade time spreads over earnings, how to trade quick credit spreads, and we also have a system called weekly ATMs, which is a strategy that we use to sell premium or sell puts on a weekly basis while holding a longer term put out in the future, and just keep taking in money on that, which is what we're doing with Apple right now. And you're going to get, again, you learn the secret ingredients and how do I trade. In the room, I go into a lot of detail on the trades that we're looking for, because people in the room are always calling out trades they're interested in. We bring up the charts, we look at the Compass system, we look at the dominator system, and we find the highest probability trade setups, because the point of being in the room is not just to make money, but to become a better trader, that you can depend on yourself to do that. Now, if you're too busy, you can't be in a room, but you want to take advantage to get some income every month, this alert service is perfect. So, but if you are interested in the software, I just throw this out there. The Compass system is $9.97 a year, and that comes with a market scanner for a year. It comes with a live trading room access for a month, and it also comes with the SMS text alert services on every trade, and the masterclass series, which is all the videos I just talked about. And we actually have a Discord room where we have 2 professional traders in there. They go live during the day. They do webinars in there. A lot of really helpful information for folks who want to be become better traders. And the Compass system is $9.97 annually. This was the first one I got. Made a huge difference in my trading. When I was trading, I've been trading for 13 years, and I noticed over the last 4 or 5 years that the regular technical analysis that traders use was not working as well as it used to. And I was looking for a way to find out why and how to do that. And basically, it's the algos and the institutions that are doing that. And I came across the Compass system. It was the only system I've ever been able to find that is effectively works on finding institutional buying and selling. Makes a huge difference. And for both systems, if you want the Compass and the Dominator system, if you want to be a trader and you want to be able to find your own trades, know what the market internals are, know what the institutions are doing, here's what you do. You get the $14.97 annually for both the Compass and the Dominator. Also comes with the same scanner per year, my trading room for a month, and the trading series, plus the Discord room, all of that. So that's what you get for the two pieces of software, Compass, Dominator. This is the Compass system, and this is the alert service, which we were highlighting, because a lot of people don't, they can't trade full time. So this gets you those trades. And my point was to be able to have you see what trades are coming to you each day. When you don't get them necessarily every single day. There was a couple today. Some days you don't get any. We only send them out when we find the highest probability trade setups. So we don't just take a trade to take a trade. So that's the alert service. That's the Compass system, and that's the Compass and Dominator system. And if you're interested at all, and I'm going to answer some questions here. If you're interested, you'd like to talk a little bit to somebody about some more details, you can call 786-732-4656, or you can just put your name and phone number or Skype username in the chat box and or in the question box, and Rory will get back to you and answer any questions. You just do it one time. He's not gonna track it down. There's no obligation on any of that stuff. But if you are the least bit interested, I would put my name and number in there. So let me just take a quick look and see what we've got for questions here. All right. Kumai say Brightline has so many services. Yeah, they do have a lot. They're all based off of the same information. I mean, there are other services for traders who want to trade futures using the Ninja platform. Mine is focused on day trades and short-term swing trades using like 5-minute charts. I'm not doing any hyper scalping or scalping in the room. I'm basically not trading futures, although you can trade futures off of the Compass system if you want to. And I think I see Rory told you about that. They're putting a website to consolidate all those things. Your losers are big, almost 100%. That's sometimes they have a, if you get a stock like that turns against you, you get a news event that comes out overnight, and you're in options that are 2 or 3 weeks out with a week to go, and you get a news event that comes, you can lose 100%. Sometimes there'll be 30, 40, 50%, but I'm leaning on the daily chart, and which is why if you're winning 90% of the trades, you're going to have a few losers in there for sure. Maybe a stop loss should be in play. I don't use stop losses. This is how I trade. My stop loss is based on the same thing as my entry. When I get into a trade, I have a technical reason for entering a trade. There is I'm buying off of a support level on the daily chart, for example. I'm not going to exit that trade unless the stock breaks down below that support level. I'm not going to get out because I'm down 50%. We've had trades many times where we were down 50, 60% on the trade, but it hadn't broken resistance yet, and it went ahead and popped right up. We had one on AB&B the other day. We had a nice one at McDonald's, and they go against you, but you look at the daily chart and you say this is still bullish. The Compass system is telling you it's bullish, so I don't put stop losses on them. If it breaks down, then we get out. Anybody who's signed up for a service and didn't get trade alerts, you need to call Rory, because you have to be put in the in the database. What is the profit factor of my systems? What is the profit factor of my systems? It depends. Like I said, that if I figure out how much percentage I'm making, it depends on how much I'm putting into a trade. When I'm trading, for example, first of all, I'm taking risk based on what the market is telling me that day. If I've got a very choppy market, then I'm going to take smaller position size. I'm going to get out of the trade sooner. If the market is trending, I'm going to take a larger position size. I'm going to get out of the trade. I'm going to get out of the trade later. I can tell you that in the 18 months that we've been running the room, we had one losing month, which was February. And on $2,000 trades, if you put 2,000 in each trade, February was down $1,700 bucks. And other than that, we've had a winning month every month, and most of the months run between $6,000 and $10,000 profit. So we've had a very, very good run. But there's no guarantees in anything like this. But that's what the record has been. How many days to expiration do I buy at the money? I buy in the money. I buy like deltas 65 to 70 on the puts and calls. I mean, different for time spreads, of course, but and days to expiration, it really depends on when the earnings are. But generally, I'm going to go out at usually 2 to 4 weeks on expiration. I'm not unless I'm doing a specific swing trade, then I might actually go out 60 days, but not generally. Generally 3 weeks. How many minutes each candle? I look at 5-minute candles on intraday trades. I don't scalp, so I'm not trading off of 1-minute candles. I'm trading off the 5-minute candles. 1-minute candles are too much noise, too much chopping around, and I want to give folks in the room the ability to get into a trade and not be stressed out and sitting there and having to be taking antacids all day because the stock is jumping around like crazy. Scalping is very tough to be successful at. It's also very stressful. And one of the whole points of this room is to put it so that it's in a relatively low stress environment so people can trade and do it consistently and not get burned out. Yeah, you'll get a replay link for sure. This is being recorded. Rory will send it out to everybody who signed up. Is this different from the Elite Option Service? Yeah, I think that's Mark's. I think that's a different option service. He trades options completely different than I do. His usually lasts quite a bit longer, and he puts fundamental analysis into the stocks. I'm looking at technical analysis only, because fundamentals are a lot of times fundamentals will be, if you think, for example, oil should go up in price, so you're going to go long oil or some oil related stocks. Fundamentally, maybe it should, but it doesn't happen for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months sometimes. And Nancy, thank you very much for your number. Appreciate it. What platforms? The Compass system runs on Thinkorswim. Now, in the Dominator system runs on Ninja 8. But now keep in mind, like for example, I run the Compass system on Thinkorswim, but I do not trade on Thinkorswim. I trade through TradeHawk as a front end into Tradier. That's how I trade because my commissions are so low there. But my all of the high probability trades I find on the Compass system and the Dominator system. I just don't trade on that platform. So if you're trading on Scottrade or Fidelity or Tastyworks, you can use the Compass system on TOS on Thinkorswim and just place your trades on whatever platform you use to trade with. And if you're interested, the discounted offer is in the chat box, so you can click on the link right there if you want to take any of that, or you can call Rory and talk to Rory, or again, like I said, put your username or your name and phone number or Skype number in the box here, and he'll get back to you about it. And I appreciate everybody taking time to Jeff, I see that, call you after the event. I think Rory will do that. And I appreciate everybody taking their Wednesday afternoon after the Fed to look at this software. It's made a huge difference in my trading, and I've been trading a long time. And again, having the tools to beat the other retail traders. When you're trading and you sit down at your computer in the morning, you're going to war. You're going to war with other retail traders. I mean, you know, everybody's trying to take money from each other. And if you've got the tools, better tools than they've got, we're going into these wars with jet fighters and tanks, and the retail traders are in there with pop guns and slingshots because they don't not have the information that we've got. And you know, knowing you have the information, having the information, and then being able to use it effectively to find the very highest probability trade setups and trade those stocks. It makes all the difference in the world, and it's going to make a world of difference in your trading. So again, I appreciate everybody being here today. Thanks so much. It's been about an hour, so I don't want to take up any more time for everybody. So again, thank you very much. Everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll see how the market goes tomorrow after the Fed announcement today. So have a good evening.